मैं इसको अपनी जीत के रूप में देखती हूँ कि आज हमने उस मुकाम को हासिल कर लिया जिसके लिए हम काफी टाइम से लड़ रहे थे। मैं चाह रही थी जब ये स्कीम आई थी तभी से ये जो है असंवैधानिक थी और उस कोर्ट ने भी उस बात को माना और मैं बहुत खुश हूँ कि आज ये स्कीम रद्द हुई है। डेफिनेटली राइट टू इन्फॉर्मेशन जो हमारा एक्ट है वो हमें अधिकार देता है कि हर ₹1 भी जो डोनेट हो रहा है वो कहाँ से आ रहा है और अगर वो डिस्क्लोज नहीं होता है तो निश्चित रूप से ये उल्लंघन है।
No, so in a very significant judgment which will have a long term effect on our electoral democracy, the Supreme Court has struck down the electoral bond scheme, comprehensively struck it down, and all the provisions that were made to bring it into effect in the Income Tax Act, in the Companies Act, etc., everything has been struck down. They have held that this violates the fundamental right to information of citizens to know about who is contributing this much money to political parties, etc. They have also struck down the amendment made which allowed unlimited political contribution being made by companies to political parties. So not only the electoral bond scheme but also the amendment which removed the restrictions on political contributions by companies, which were that you cannot contribute more than 7.5% of your annual profit by way of political contributions. That has also been struck down as violating the level playing field in a democracy. So the petitions filed by us have been comprehensively allowed by the Supreme Court. So they have also directed the State Bank of India to furnish complete information about who purchased the bonds, who encashed the bonds, and all this information will have to be submitted to the Election Commission, who will have to display it on a public website so that the people come to know who purchased the bonds and who contributed by way of electoral bonds to which political parties.
A historical verdict of the Supreme Court has exposed what the Congress party always maintained, that electoral bond scheme is a black money conversion scheme. So the Supreme Court's Constitution bench in the historical judgment today has quashed the electoral bond scheme, which is a black money conversion scheme of the Modi government. The scheme will no longer be able to convert notes into votes, and the majesty of the democracy and the electoral process has been upheld. We welcome this verdict and we hope that Modi government will now learn its lessons from its illegal, unconstitutional and illegitimate electoral bond scheme that has been upheld as unconstitutional and violative of the fundamental tenets of the Constitution of India.
What Honorable Supreme Court has said today is basically held that in the electoral bonds the information should come out. The larger perspective is that this has been a journey for several decades and the concern has been how to prevent black money or slush money getting into the electoral process. Keeping concerns regarding identities of the contributors in mind, a scheme came. The Honorable Supreme Court has held that this scheme in this format could not have been there. So therefore it has passed a set of directions. Now any order of the Supreme Court or judgment has to be accepted, has to be respected, but those political parties who are trying to politicize it, they are doing it primarily on the ground that they have no answer or alternative to Modi ji's leadership and the positive work done by his government. From the 10th largest economy become the 5th largest and is on its way to become the 3rd largest. And these political parties find themselves in a position that an alliance that they were trying to craft is almost dying itself or is dying out or is collapsing even before it could stand on its legs. So their reasons of politicizing it is very clearly this.